Hi. Welcome to my second Periscope. I'm Laura Reagan. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Maryland and consultant, blogger, coach, and podcaster starting very soon. As you saw, I'm launching my podcast very, very soon, hopefully within a week. I'd like to say in days. And today I wanted to talk about how self-care can help you have a great business. So I'm an independently licensed therapist and consultant and coach, blogger, as I said, and I'm alone in my practice. I do everything myself, so it's really important to take time to have retreats, working retreats, and non-working retreats, time to develop yourself and develop your business. If you spend all of your time working in your business with your clients and never take time away so that you can work to develop yourself and have creativity, you're more blocked in what you can do. So the reason why I think this is helpful is because as therapists, we typically focus on just spending our time seeing as many clients as possible, doing our administrative tasks, and dealing with paperwork. But there are so many parts of being a business owner that aren't the same as the therapy work we do, and you have to be able to be creative in order to grow in yourself and what you do with your business. So one of the things I'm doing that's a creative pursuit is my new podcast, which is called the Baltimore Annapolis Psychotherapy Podcast, and I hope some of you will tune in when it launches on iTunes. You can get information about it on my website, www.laurareaganlcswc.podcast. The idea of the podcast was something that I conceived of when I was taking time away from seeing clients day to day and being involved with my family responsibilities to just work on what my goals are, what I want. And as I said, I can't do that in between clients and in the evenings when I get home from work or on the weekends, because I want to have time for myself to take care of the other things that I need for myself, but there's not enough time and space in that paradigm for me to be able to think creatively. So I first started doing working retreats when in May I took a few days away from my family and went to a cabin in the woods about an hour and a half away from my house for about 3 days. I just stayed there by myself and I did things that nourished me. So I rested, I exercised, I walked in nature, I listened to music, I meditated, and in that time I was able to really focus on what I wanted to do with my business and how I wanted to do it, but the time and space away where I didn't have to think about what I was going to make for dinner that night, who needs to be driven to, what kind of practice, what carpool I'm supposed to be picking up, what clients I need to see, what notes I need to do, other documentation, things like that. And I was able to, probably in those 3 days, I got, I don't know, work done that would have taken me months to get it done if I hadn't devoted the time away from my day-to-day life. And it wasn't really expensive to do that, you know, and the value to my business and myself was immense because before leaving, I felt overwhelmed. I felt, I had so many things I was trying to plan and do, and I couldn't put them together, and I just didn't even know where to begin. So I knew I needed some time away. So right now I'm on a working retreat. I'm in Las Vegas a place that I had never been before recently, or before this trip. Getting here the other night, I was completely out of my comfort zone, and riding from the airport and going down the strip, I was saying, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? This is really not for me. It was very overwhelming. But, getting out of your comfort zone causes you to shake things up a little bit. You can be vulnerable. You can try new things. You can look at things from a different perspective. And again, being away from my daily routine and responsibilities is very valuable. So I wasn't seeing who was watching this. I see that I have 3 people watching, so hi, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to show me some love with some hearts if you want to. So do you have any questions for me about taking time away from your day-to-day life with working retreats and how they can be helpful to your business? I'd be happy to answer if you type them in the chat box. Another thing that is important about taking retreats, it doesn't always have to be a working retreat. Sometimes getting away, for example, when I went to the Daring Way training in Texas last September, I was away from home, again, out of my comfort zone. And it was a working retreat because I was learning and I was getting continuing education credits, but it was also an example of putting myself and my business as a priority, to invest the money to travel down there, pay for the training, pay for the hotel, food, airfare, and the time away from home, time away from seeing clients, which means not bringing in money. So I think as therapists, we can be very limited in thinking, I have to, be in the office every week. That's the only way to make my business work. But what I've seen, and I used to think that, so that's where I'm coming from with that perspective. But what I've seen is that really it's a worthwhile investment, because as therapists, consultants, coaches, we are our business. So if you are investing in what makes you grow and what makes you be able to be more creative, then you are going to be better at what you're doing when you're back in your routine, in your comfort zone. So I'm just going to show you guys my tool here, the Desire Map. I guess it's not a planning tool, but it's a guide to creating goals. That's something that I'm working on while I'm here, is identifying the goals of how I want to feel in my business. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you for watching, and feel free to check out my podcast when it's launched on www.laurareaganlcswc.com/podcast. You'll find the information when it's live, which I hope will be very soon. And I'll be talking about things like this, talking about what we do as therapists, how we do things, how we think about what we do, ways that therapists practice. I have therapists I'm interviewing who are doing interesting things in their practice that I think are a little bit different from what most people would expect when they think of therapy, like Reiki, EMDR, holistic practices other than Reiki, like energy work, chakra clearing, and also different therapy modalities that not everyone is familiar with, like sensory motor psychotherapy, and retreats. I talked with a wonderful therapist, Tiffany Goyer, who is doing a retreat in the south of France that I think sounds fantastic, and gave me the idea for doing this Periscope. And I have retreats as well. I do Daring Way weekend retreat, intensive retreats, and I'm going to be doing self-care retreats that are day-long experiences as well. And you can find information about that on my website at www.laurareaganlcswc.com. Thanks so much for being here. See you later.